folks, this is a live stream, and in this video, this is part one of. Okay, now pay attention. You got to pay attention closely here. Part two is the new information. Part one is the foundation for the new information. So if you're new to the channel, you have to watch this first to understand what I'm talking about in part two. Because part two is the real incredible information. This is incredible information that I've already shown many times on my channel. But the reason I'm doing it back to back is because this way, if anyone new comes along and they watch part two, if I don't do it in parts, they would look at that video, they wouldn't understand it fully. So that's why they got to watch part one first, and that's why I'm doing a part one and then a part two. But remember, part two is the new information. So anyone who doesn't watch part two, you're you're missing out on the most incredible part. Okay, now, like I said, folks, to all the people who are my regular viewers, you've seen this 100 times probably throughout. But again, it's just to remind you of how America's birthday is connected to this puzzle and why it's so important and how it connects. Folks, it's not about my birthday. So please stop saying, what's your birthday got to do with this? It's not about it, but the fact that I'm the one revealing it, it makes all the sense in the world as to why God would choose that day for me to be born, and the place where I was born, all the connections throughout, if you've been watching my videos, you know what it is. I'm not going to get into it all. Okay, so don't worry about the fact that it's my birthday connections, because that's not what it's about. It's what's important to them, for their magical mathematical equation that they need to make this all work. Okay, because it's some kind of satanic rituals that they're doing through numbers. Okay, anyway, so let's get started. And folks, throughout the time, can you guys thumb up the video? Okay, now so let me just tell you this before I start. Okay, oh, by the way, I have two predictions that on June 11th, there's going to be a spectacular event in Washington State. When I say spectacular, I mean a horrific event. Get out of Washington State before June 11th, okay? You got to get out, all right? And there could be even much greater damage than just Washington State, but that's the ground zero that plays, okay? Now, that's June 11th. That's the biblical beast out of the sea revelation. And when in the Bible it says that the biblical beast who rises from the sea also has a head, and one of its heads was wounded, and the world wondered after the beast after his deadly wound was healed. Okay, so that means that there's a second part to this, and that's where the trump comes in. Trump is the head that gets that head wound on August 4th. Okay, that's my second prediction. Trump gets his head wound on August 4th, most likely in Ohio, okay? And he survives his deadly head wound, okay? And he resurrects, okay? Because he's playing the part of Jesus, who is God in the flesh. But when God was in the flesh, Jesus, God was still in heaven. And that's where Elvis comes in, because Trump is the image of Elvis. Elvis is the real Antichrist. He is Satan. He is the dragon, okay? He is the biblical beast out of the sea. And Trump is the image of the beast, okay? And Trump is the one who gets the head wound, okay? But that's on August 4th. The biblical beast event is on June 11th, okay? In Washington State. Now, so let's get started. And let me just real quick tell you again with my birthday. I was born on September 4th, but because it was a leap year, it connected to 9/5. September 4th connected to September 5th because of the leap year. You know what I'm saying? Because on a leap year, it's the 248th day, September 4th, but which connects to September 5th being the 248th day regularly. Okay? So now let's get started. Give me a second here. All right. So hold on, let me put a piece of paper behind this. Okay, so America's age right now, okay, last year it went from 247 to 248, right? It's 248 years old right now until July 4th, okay? America's age. And but my prediction of June 11th happens before the Washington State event happens before it turns 249 years old, because it has to happen within the 247, 248 range, because I told you that it's connected to this part. Let me show you what I mean. Because see, September 4th is a 247, 248 day of the year on a leap year. 9/5 is a 248, 249. So this is the real connection here. But because 9/4 has a connection to it, that's why 9/4, 9/5 is the connection. So every time you see 9/5, understand that 9/4 is connected to it. That's all I'm saying. Okay? And that's my birthday, 9/4. I told you. Anyway, why is this important? Because see, Elvis, he is born on 1/8. Elvis needs 1/9. Okay, what does that mean? See, basically what it means a crown. See, it's one above him. That's what it is. It's a crown or a portal to the other side. So what he's saying is he needs that 9. Okay, and what do I mean by that? You'll see. If you add up all the numbers between 1 through 8, because remember, he's born on 1/8, Elvis, right? If you add up all the numbers between 1 through 8, it equals 36, which is the 666 connection. Because if you add up all the numbers between 1 through 36, you get 666. So it has that 666 connection, and everything with Elvis connects to the 666, okay? Anyway, then if you add up all the numbers between 1 through 9, it equals 45. And who was the 45th president? Trump. Because it's all about getting to that 9 and to the 45 connection. And before I move on, let me just say this to you. Trump, not Trump. Trump's the 45th president, right? The only president that Elvis visited was Richard Nixon. Okay, Tricky Dicky. And what did he give Tricky Dicky? He went to the White House unexpectedly, supposedly, with a .45 pistol. Gold or whatever if it was gold or silver, I don't know what it was, but he gave him a .45 to the president. And you know, Presley is the first 4 letters of president. Same thing. Presley, president, you know, PRES, and serpent, SERP. It's the same 4 letters that it start with, you know. But anyway, so he gives President Nixon a .45. Presley's like president, and by the way, president, the anagram is serpent ID. So the word president is serpent ID if you use all the letters. Anyway, so Presley, and even Presley's home, Graceland, looks like the White House. Go look at it. It's a pyramid shape on the top, like a triangle, and it's got 4 pillars, exactly like Graceland. And president, PRES, you understand, Presley. And so he gives them 45. Because the 45 is the key here, okay? You understand? And Nixon was involved in Watergate. Elvis equals water. You understand? It's all connected, all right? Now, just now I showed you that Elvis needs the 1/9, right? Because 1 through 8 equals 36. 1 through 9 equals 45. He needs that 9, okay? And where was the first case of the 19 sickness? In Seattle, Washington. The first case of the 19 crown sickness. Corona means crown. The first case was in Seattle, Washington. And I was telling everyone that Lucifer lost his 19 crown because Lucifer equals 74. And when he got thrown out of heaven, he became Satan. 74 minus 19 equals 55, and Satan equals 55. So he lost his 19 crown. And I was saying that before the 19 crown ever came out. Okay. on my channel that got terminated. Everyone on my channel knows that if they were with me before I got my channels deleted. Anyway, so Elvis, I mean, Elvis is the representation of Lucifer, who is Satan. So Elvis lost his 19 crown, and I was telling everyone that everything connects with Elvis connects to Seattle, Washington, right? And because Elvis was connected to the Space Needle, right? He was the first one to have anything to do with the Seattle Space Needle. And when he made a movie called It Happened at the World's Fair, he was in the Space Needle in that movie when it first opened. Anyway, so the 19 sickness was in the 19 crown sickness was the first case was in Seattle, Washington. First death was in King County. Elvis is known as the king, right? And the first outbreak was in Washington State. You see how it's all connected to the 19? Because I told you Elvis needs the 1-9, right? He's born on 1-8, but he needs that 1-9. He needs that 9. And who was the first famous person to get the 19 sickness? Tom Hanks. What was Tom Hanks doing? Filming the Elvis movie. This is all stuff I've talked about for years, okay? And so it's all connected to that 19 because Elvis needs that 1-9, but really he needs the 9. Now, let me go back to what we're talking. Oh, and by the way, Elvis died at the age of 42, and Washington's the 42nd state. So let's get back to this anyway. So Elvis was born on 1-8. He needs that 9, okay? And 1 through 8 equals 36, which has a 666 connection, and 1 through 9 equals 45. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot all about this. Sorry about that, folks. I forgot an important thing here. See, this just adds to what I'm telling you, how perfect it is, the puzzle. So again, just to prove my point that Elvis needs the 9, he's born on the 8th day, he needs that 9, and the 9 is the connection to the 45, okay? But Elvis is born on 1-8. He's born on the 8th day, he needs that 9. See? Look at this. The 8th prime number equals 19. You see what I'm talking about? That even proves it more, what I'm trying to explain to you, that it's all about to get to the 9, right? Now, check this out. Remember earlier when I was telling you about America's age, okay, having to do with it's in between 248 and 249 right now. Look at this. The 248th prime number is 1571. If you add the 248 to the 1571, it equals 1819. I mean, do you really believe that's just a coincidence? I'm just asking. It's just a coincidence when I'm telling you that Elvis needs that 1-9 and basically he needs the 9. That's what I'm saying, you know. Because, Elvis, he had an identical twin that died at birth. There was 2 of them born on 1-8. So it really would be 1818. But see, they can't have equal. That's why he needs to have that 1-9. Okay? You can only have one Antichrist. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. They can't be equal. Trump is not equal to Elvis. Elvis is above him. Elvis is the real Antichrist. Trump is the image of the Antichrist. Okay? Now, let's keep going. So remember, I told you Elvis is born on 1-8. He needs the 1-9. 1 through 8 is 36. If you add up all the numbers between 1 through 9, you get 45. Now, I told you about how the connections to my birthday, 9495, which is connecting to the America's age, the 247, 248, 249 connection, all of it, right? Because we're in between 248 and 249 years for America's age. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. Just like this, see? That's why the 9495 is so important. You see what I mean? 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. I'm just saying, these are just coincidences? No. Just like this. Let me explain to you why this is important. Why am I showing this? You'll see in a moment. Okay? everything's about the 45 and the 9 because 1 through 9 equals 45, right? For 4 days, this is the percentage of 4 days of a year. 5 days is this percentage. Added up, you get 2.47. Now, why am I showing you that? Because see, I told you everything's about the 9495, right? Anyway, so let's start. Here we go again. So Elvis is born on 1/8. He needs that 9, right? From the first of the year to the ninth day is 2.47. Okay? 9 and then 2.47. I mean, the 9 days is 2.47. So he needs that. He needs to get to this to go further, because like I said, it's like a portal. Okay, that 45, because 1 through 9 equals 45. But anyway, why am I showing this 2.47? You'll see how it all connects, because I told you Elvis needs that 9 and the ninth day is 2.47. So I told you that my birthday is 9/4, but it was a leap year, so it's 247, 248 day of the year. But look, from Elvis's birthday to 9/11 is 247 days on a regular year, which it was a regular year when 9/11 happened. But on leap year, it would have been 248. You understand? And um, and I told you Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth. Okay, and twin equals 66, the word, and it was 66 years from Elvis's birth to 9/11 when it fell. And look at that, 8 months, 4 days. And I told you Trump's gonna get his head one on 8/4. You see what I mean? It's all connected. And you see the 67, 67. Elvis equals 67, and Jesse is twin. Jessie equals 67. So again, it's all about the twin. Okay, the twin towers. And what happened when the twins fell? They brought up 1. Okay, so anyway, the point is that it connects to the 247. Okay, that's what I'm showing you now, because it's the ninth day. That's what the connection is. Now look, Elvis is born on 1/8. He needs that 9, gets to the 11. Do you see what I'm saying? But look at those numbers right there. 1/8 to 9/11 is 247 days. Look, 666 days is equivalent to 182.47%. Get it? 18247 is 666. That's the connection. That's why he needs that 9. Do you get it? All these things I'm showing you, because the 9 is the 247. Elvis needs that 9, you know? And I told you 1 through 9 equals 45, and Trump is the 45, 47. Do you understand? 9 days is 47, the 247. Elvis has been dead now for 47 years, and Trump is the 47th president, but he was also the 45, okay? That's what I'm trying to make you guys understand, okay? And it's connecting to the 666. And if you still think these are coincidences, how about this coincidence? Because remember, we're talking about the 666, 18247, connecting 18247, right? Connecting to 9/11. Now watch this. 666 days. Remember, it's 182.47. Look at this. What is the 182nd day of the year? It's 7/1, the date. So from the first of the year to 7/1 is 182 days. From 7/1 is 47 days to Elvis's death date. How perfect is that? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, how perfect is that? So it's 182, then 47. And Elvis has been dead now 47 years. Are you getting it? He's now dead for 47 years. 182.47. Are we understanding what I'm showing? Okay? Are you understanding that? Do you understand how impossible it is to explain this? It's so difficult to explain, man. And Trump is the 47th president, yes. Hold on 1 second, folks. My hand's about to fall off. Give me a second. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It's so difficult to explain all this, you know? Man. Give me a second here. Let me drink some water. I got bad arthritis, folks. Just give me a second. So, like I said, folks, this is part one. Part two is the new info, the 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 incredible information. Okay, so just please bear with me with this. That way, you can understand what part two is about. Okay. Like I said to you guys before, the 45 is a bridge. It's a portal, okay? And that's why 1 through 9 equals 45, and that's why the 9 is so important, right? Now, and you know, Elvis, he went from 89 to 90 this year, okay? I told you everything's about the 9495. Look, if you add up all the numbers between 1 through 89, because Elvis was 89 last year, but he turned from 89 to 90 this year. So look at that. You got the 9, 4, and the 5 connecting to that date, right? And the Elvis halftime Super Bowl was in 1989. And then when Elvis turned Satan, the age 55, that Super Bowl, the score was 55-10, and that was the year Elvis turned 55, and the Super Bowl was the Satan numbers. Satan equals 55-10, the year Elvis turned Satan in the year 90. And how old is Elvis now? 90. Do you understand? This was in year 90 I'm talking about. And in year 89, Elvis halftime Super Bowl, and the year 90, Elvis turned Satan. And look at the number, 90495. You see it? 9495. That's the point. Everything's about the 9495, okay? And you know that Jesus, he was crucified at the age of 33, and he rose from the dead at 33. 33 is a very important number, and I've shown why in my videos with numerically, but I'm not going to show it here. But look what it's connected to. It's 9.04. There's that 9.4, which is the 248 day of the year, and America's age right now is 204, right? The 33 connection. And look what it is, 4 weeks, 5 days. Another, look at that, 4 or 5, you see? That's another connection, all right? And then from 9.4, okay, to Elvis's birthday, it's 4 months, 4 days, or 4 months, 5 days. And who is the 45 president? It's Trump. Trump was the 44th person, but the 45th president. And then he became 47. But the point is, if you went from 9.5, it would be 4 months, 4 days exactly. But from 9.4 to 1.8, it's 4 months, 4 days if you don't add the day, but 4 months, 5 days when you add the day. So that's why from 9.5 to Elvis's birthday, it would be 4 months, 4 days if you add the day. So it has a connection to both. And of course, Obama was the 44th president who was born on August 4th. That's the day Trump gets his head wound, okay? That's what it's all connected to, all right? So what I'm trying to show you is that this 9.4 and 9.5 is so important to this puzzle, connecting to all these numbers. And just like Elvis, look at his name. Elvis equals 67 forward, 68 backwards. Is it just a coincidence that 67 days and 68 days is 9 weeks, 4 days, and 9 weeks, 5 days? Again, connecting to the 9495 with Elvis? Are you guys following what I'm saying? I'll show you more about Elvis's name in a moment. But I just want to make sure you guys are following. Please respond. Are you guys following? I just want to make sure you guys are following here. Okay, so I'm making sense. You're understanding it. Okay. Now, and remember, look at that. Elvis equals 67 forward, 68 backwards. And I was showing you 67, 68 days. Look at this. From the date 6-7 and 6-8, if you go from 9-4, is 9 months, 4 days, and 9 months, 5 days. To the numbers, to the date 6-7, 6-8. Remember, Elvis equals 67, 68. I'm just showing you how ridiculous this is. Why is everything connecting to Elvis have to do with 9495? Okay? Is it just a coincidence? No way. Okay? Now, you know that June 11th on a regular year, because 2025 is a regular year, not a leap year. Okay, we're not in a leap year right now. So pay attention from the first of the year to June 11th, because June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. But when you're using the calculator, if you go up to June 11th and don't add the day, it's 161 days. When you add the day, it's 162 days. Okay, so it connects to 161 and 162. And why am I showing that? Because look at this. The first prime number, the first prime numbers that connect to 9,5 is 161, which is 9,4. Then the next one is 9,5. See, there's one before this that connects to 9,4, which would be the 160th. It's 941. But what I'm trying to explain to you is it has to connect to the 9,5. Do you understand? 9,4 has to connect to that 5. 945. That's why it has to be 161, 162. Okay? And June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. So it has to connect to this 9,5. Do you get it? This is the first one that connects to the 9,4 and the 9,5 together. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is the first one that connects 9,4 and 9,5 together. Okay? And of course, I told you guys that the 3 is a crown. It's just like the letter O and the number 0 is a crown, like 0 to hero. But the 3 is a crown too. See, the 3 is a W, like the George W. You understand all that? I've explained it all. Look at, see, 95 with a crown. And I told you this all about the 9495 because I was born on 94 because it was a leap year. But 94 lands on the 95 day. It's all connected. And I told you Trump's going to get his head won on August 4th, right? And if you look at the numbers from the first of the year to August 4th, if you add that up, look at that. You have a 9 and then a 5. If you add the row up, you see what I mean? And it's the 216th day of the year. And June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. Same numbers. 16, 2, 216, you know. And look, 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. You know, I've shown all the connections to this. I'm not showing everything here, okay? I was just showing you how it connects to the 9/5 with that August 4th date. And of course, I've shown you that 10 hours, 11 minutes is 611 minutes. And from Elvis's birthday to the date 10/11 is 9 months, 4 days. So it's, again, there's connections to 611 with 9/4. That's all I'm saying from Elvis's birthday, okay? Now, Elvis's social security number from Mississippi, where he was born. Look at this. Look at the first 3 numbers. 4095. And I told you I was born on 9/04. But it landed on the 9/5 day because it was a leap year. You see that? That's the first numbers of Elvis's social security number. 4095. Again, I ask you, are these just coincidences? You know? Let me talk to you guys for a second while I rest my hand. All right, do you see what I'm saying? You think these are just coincidences? You know? Okay. Here we go again. Let me just drink some water. By the way, folks, if I didn't see your comments, it's because I'm not really looking, and I just pressed the all button. I missed the chats again, brother. But I think everyone's behaving normally in the chat right now. Anyway, yeah, God bless everyone in the chat. Appreciate it. Anyway, so let's keep going. So remember that Elvis has been dead now for 47 years, right? And Trump's the 47th president now. Perfect timing, right? The 247s, get it? And you know, June 11th is the 162nd day of the year, right? And you know, I told you Elvis Presley was the first person to have anything to do with the Seattle Space Needle, okay? Because he made a movie called It Happened at the World's Fair when it first opened. Because everything to do with Elvis has to do with the needle, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But so what was the? Hold on. So you know that everything has to do with George Washington too, because George Washington, Washington State is named after him. Look, the day George Washington died to the day the Seattle Space Needle opened, and And the reason the Space Needle is so important is because the words Space Needle equals exactly the words fallen angel. Because Elvis is the fallen angel, not just a fallen angel, the fallen angel. Okay? Now, from the death date of George Washington to the day the Space Needle opened is 162 years, 4 months, 7 days if you don't add the day, 4 months, 8 days if you add the day. Look at that, will you? June 11th is the 162nd day of the year, and Elvis has been dead for 47 years. Trump is the 47th president, and Trump's going to get his head on 84. You see all the connections? And look at what the numbers are. 247 or 248. Do you get what I'm saying? And Elvis died in the 16th state, was Tennessee. You see what I'm talking about? All the connections, you know? I'm just trying to explain to you all this stuff, you know? I can show you even the connections of those numbers right there, but I'm not going to get into that right here. But do you understand? June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. Okay? Okay, and like, look, let me tell you what I'm saying. Like, if you took the 19 out and just put 4, 21, 62, you'd have the 162 right there and 42. Elvis died at the age of 42. Washington's the 42nd state. And then you have 162 if you take out that 19, see? 162 is June 11th. I told you June 11th. You see how it's perfect. You see what I mean? Now, again, just to show you that this is no coincidence that 16247, look, if you went forward from the first of the year to August 16th, if you went 1 year more, like not within 1 year, but like a year and a half from the first of the year to August 16th, the percentage of 1 year, 7 months, 16 days, which lands on Elvis's death date, is 162.47 if you don't add the day, 162.74 if you add the day. Okay? So, and look, and by the way, sometimes on certain years, it lands perfectly on it, where even when you add the day, it's exactly that. And look, you have 594 days sometimes, 593. And look, there's that 5-4, there's that 954 connection. Okay, but on some years, from the first of the year to August 16th, lands exactly on this 16247, which I just explained to you is June 11th, 162nd day of the year. Elvis died at 47, and just like this numbers 16247 from Washington's death date to the Space Needle opening. Okay, I'm just saying, are these coincidences? And you know the 2025, how important it is. I showed that the prime numbers for 20 and 25 is 71 and 97. And look, it adds up to 168. Elvis died on 8/16/1977. Look at those numbers. 8161977. See what I mean? And then you have the 45, right? The portal number, the bridge, you know, and bridge equals 45. It's the portal, you know. And I told you Elvis with a crown. Hold on 1 second. Elvis with a crown. Give me a second. Elvis with a crown. Like if you put Elvis's name with the letter O, it equals exactly the word portal. Every single number is the same, you know. So I'm just trying to explain to you, it's all connected to this Elvis needing a crown, you know. Give me a second here. All right, let's keep going here. I'm trying, folks. My hands are killing me. Arthritis here. So remember I was telling you how important that 94, 95 is, but 95 is more important, you know, but 94 connects to it. Look, Elvis's death date is 8/16. Look at that. 816 plus 95 is 9/11. See? I'm sure that's just a coincidence too, right? See that? 816 plus 95 is 911. See? Yeah. And remember I showed you this? The area code 954 was implemented on the date 9/11/95. You see that? The 954, because I told you anything to do with 954, 945, any of that, you know? And the 945 area code is is right near where JFK was, you know, taken, you know what I mean? Right in that vicinity. Hold on one second. I got to make sure about this one. Hold on. Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm talking about the same thing here. When was the 954 area code implemented? Yeah, September 11th, 95. Yeah. And it's part of Florida where Trump lives, Broward County. When was the 945 area code implemented? I think it was MLK's birthday. Yeah, it was. It was MLK's birthday in 2021. See? And MLK is connected all up and down with 94, 95, because MLK's birthday MLK's death date. So MLK's birthday was the 945, and when did MLK die? On the 94, 95 day of the year. Do you understand what I'm telling you? How impossible this is? But I'll show that to you. I'm not done. I'm just trying to explain to you how ridiculous these connections are, You see what I'm saying? Remind me to show that MLK connection. I forgot to put the card. I've done it before. I've showed it in the past. So, the space, 63 years old right now. And look at this. From the date 6/3 to 9/5 is 94 days if you don't add the day, 95 days if you add the day. So that means from 6/3 to 9/4 would be 94 days if you add the day. So from 6/3 to 9/4 would be 94 days exactly. From 6/3 to 9/5, if you don't add the day, it's 94. If you add the day, it's 95. See, it has to get to that 95 connection. That's why it's 6/3 to 9/5 is more important. Do you get it? But it connects to the 94. Do you see how perfect that is? You think that's a coincidence? And if you add up all the numbers between 1 and 63, what do you get? 2016. I told you June 11th is the 162 day of the year. August 4th is the 216 day of the year. You see what I'm talking about? And 63 is like the reverse of 36, which is 1 through 36 is 666. You see what I'm saying? And 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. And 1 through 63 is 2016. Do you see how perfect it is? I'm just asking. All right? These are not coincidences, And then the prime number for 95, look, it ends in 594, see? When you add the 95th prime is 499, add the 95 to the 499, you get 594. Look, you see that? It's that same numbers again. And if you remember a minute ago, what did I show here? Look, remember I showed you this? That 162.74 is 594, but it connects to the 47 because, on certain years, it's exactly to this date. On certain years, it's exactly to that number. So I'm just saying it has the connection to all of that, But anyway, the 95 connects to both the 4 and the 5 with the 9. That's what I'm trying to imply there. Do you get it? All right. Now, speaking of the 9594 connection again, like the whole time I've been talking here, how old is Elvis right now? He's on June 11th. On June 11th, he's going to be 90 years, 5 months, 4 days. There's that 954. Or 945, whatever you want. See what I mean? On June 11th, he's going to be 954. And remember, in the year 90, he turned Satan 55, and the Super Bowl score was 55-10. Satan equals 55-10, and that was the year Elvis turned 55. And all those Super Bowls that I mentioned in 89, 90, all connected to June 11th. You understand? The quarterback was born on June 11th, and the Vince Lombardi Trophy, Vince Lombardi, the Super Bowl trophy is named after him. He's born on June 11th. It's just like, I mean, man, if only people were to see all the pieces of the puzzle, you would just lose your mind. You would say this is impossible, you know? And here's another connection, no big deal. But the 945th prime is 7459. And you know why this is important? Because the 9th month in the Roman calendar is the 7th month. So 945 is the same as 745. You understand? Because the 9th month is the 7th month. do you get what I'm saying? So that connects right there. And look, from Elvis's birthday, if you went forward to 611 and you went 7,459 days, it lands on 611. You see what I'm talking about? And look, it's 55. Satan equals 55, see? Okay? And let me show you this. Connecting that 945 prime. See how it connects? Watch this. 945th prime, right? Add the 945 to that. Look at that. What have I been telling you guys all this time? That Trump gets his head wound on 8-4 and he returns 4 days later on 8-8. You see? See what I'm talking about? There's that crown, that portal. Because he's gonna be pronounced dead, and he opens his eyes 4 days later. He goes through that portal. Elvis enters Trump. Okay? Like Satan entered Judas. But I don't listen. I don't know every single detail of how it's going to play out, but Trump gets his head when I 8-4, and somehow he opens his eyes 4 days later. Okay? Yeah, that's why I said to you guys, this is the last year that I'm going to be researching. You will never see me do numbers of next year. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. This is the final year I'm doing it. Okay? But I will be talking about it if it doesn't happen. I'll still talk about it, but I'm not because I'll tell you why. Because it's going to be perfect again. I ain't doing it. It's got to be this year because it connects to that 9495. Because that is not only because of that, because this year is the reset moment too. Next year is not the reset after that. So that's why I'm saying if they're not going after this reset numbers, besides the 9495 stuff that I just showed and the connection to the America's Age with the 247, 248, and 249 connection, but all that, if it's not because of that, then whatever they're waiting for, I don't care after that. All I know is it's going to happen. You can't stop what's coming. Even if it doesn't happen this year, it has to happen while Trump is still relevant. Because Trump is the image of the beast. He is the image of Elvis. Okay, that's why he compares himself to Elvis. You think it's a coincidence that he gave Elvis the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award? Come on. Okay, now, like I said, let's just keep going. These are, like I said, they're beyond incredible. This information. If you don't know it's incredible, then I don't know what to tell you. It's shocking to me. Anyone who can't see how incredible this is, You got to watch from the beginning. Anyone who got in, there's no filling in anyone. You got to go to the beginning. This is just part one. Part two is the new information. The most incredible, this is an incredible foundation of info that I'm giving you to lay the groundwork for why the next video is so important. Okay? Because I don't want to show it in that video, all of this. That's why I have to lay the groundwork here. I'm going to tell everyone, watch this first. That way you can understand why the 9 is so important. You'll see. No, someone's saying that Trump held up his phone yesterday and it said 9/11 on it. No, I didn't see it. And remember, 9/11 for them is 6/11 in the West Coast. You understand? I've told you guys that. 9/11 on the East Coast, because he's on the East Coast. 6 is 611. So whenever you see 911, you're seeing 611. Okay? Do you understand? Oh, he held it upside down? No way. Where is that? Show me that image. I got to get it right now. You know what? You know my number, don't you? Can't you somebody send me a link or put a photo up in my community post section, and remind me that it's there. I got to do this. I got to finish this video. That's important. I want to see it. Why would he hold up his phone? That makes no sense. Reuters Trump phone. This is crazy. Why would he do that? Reuters Trump phone 9/11. What kind of insanity is this? Phone lock. What does that mean? Phone lock. I mean, what Donald Trump's phone lock screen photo was leaked. What is this guy's talking about? Phone lock. First of all, for the people, I'm right-handed. This is my right hand. I know it looks like I'm writing left-handed, but I'm not. So when you're seeing this number, you're seeing it backwards on the phone. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but let me show you from the other way. See, when I show it from the opposite way, then you can see it correctly. So this is they showed it upside down. Look at that. What in the hell? I don't get it. What does that mean? Why are they showing it? What do they mean by they showed his phone lock? That's the part I'm not understanding. I don't understand. Oh, you mean because he has his own picture on the screen? Is that what they're saying? Oh, I see. Okay. His photo is on the screen. Okay, I get it now. Okay, now I get it. Wow. That's just insanity, man. I mean, talk about insanity. Wow. Wow. I mean, that's just crazy, man. For goodness sake, people, get out. Get out, man. Yeah, I know. A bad dawn. I mentioned that years ago. Yeah. Trump is a bad dawn. But no, really, Elvis is he is the actual one. Trump is just the one in the flesh. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Remember, I told you Elvis needs the 9. Elvis is born on 180, needs that 9. Look at this. 94 plus 95. What is it, folks? 189. See? You see how perfect this puzzle is? I told you Elvis needs the 9. There it is. See? You can't get more perfect than this. Again, showing you exactly what Elvis needs. Okay? Look at Elvis's name. The totals. 89, then 1, 0, 0 equals 189. See? 89, 1, 0, 0. See? Again with that 189. Elvis needs the 9. I told you that. Okay? And remember earlier I told you because America's age is 248. The 248 prime number is 1571. You add the 248 to the 1571, you get 1819. Anyone who came in late, you got to watch from the beginning. You got to watch from the beginning. Okay? This is laying the groundwork for part 2, which is I'm going to be doing in a couple hours. Part 2. You got to watch this first. But part 2 is the new information, which is way better than this even. Okay? This is incredible information. So imagine what the next one's going to be. Look at that. Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived and died, equals 189 if you just add up all the letters. Again, I ask you folks, what is the chance? Because Elvis needs that 9. You see? I'm asking you, what is the chance that Memphis, Tennessee equals 189? Elvis Aaron Presley. Look at the total. Up the top right here, 459. There's that 954 again. See what I mean? All connected. You see what I'm saying? And look at this. The word Washington equals 130. If you add 95, because remember, it's all about the 95, because America's age is 248 years. The 248th day of the year is 995. I mean, 248th day of the year is 95. So Washington equals 130. 130 plus 95 is 225. You see? And remember, Elvis turned 89. Okay, look, I got to explain this. This is the part I forgot to explain. So if Elvis needs the 9, how come it didn't happen when he turned 89? How come it didn't happen when he turned 89? Because he needs the crown on the 9. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. That's where the 90 comes in. Because Elvis' halftime show was in 89 in the Super Bowl. Then in 90 is when he turned Satan, which is 55 he turned. And the Super Bowl that year was 55-10. Satan equals 55-10. And the Super Bowl winners of 89-90 were the 49ers. 9-4, get it? The 49, the 9-4, which is what I'm talking about all this time. And the quarterback was Joe Montana, who's born on June 11th. The Super Bowl trophy is called the Vince Lombardi Trophy. He's born on June 11th. So 89 was the Elvis halftime Super Bowl, but the 90 is where Elvis turned Satan. And that was the year Satan. I mean, that's the year the Super Bowl was 55-10. So what I'm saying is it's about 89-90. So he not only does he need that 9, but he needs that crown on the 9, which is the portal that goes to the other side. And that's why 1 through 9 equals 45. The 45 is the portal. Okay, the bridge, because bridge equals 45 too. But it's the portal. That's what he needs. Okay? Now that you understand that, let me one more time explain. Wait, did I explain all? Hold on one second. I want to make sure, because I picked up the phone to explain something. Now I can't remember what I was going to say. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. I don't even remember what I was going to say. Anyway, let's get back, because I don't remember now. But anyway, so like I said, it's so hard to explain all this stuff. So I told you Washington equals 130, the name Washington. And if you add 95, it equals 225. Okay? And that's why, that's why I was saying that. Because see, in 89, if you added 94, because remember I told you 9495 is the big piece of the puzzle here. So 94 would have been 224. And just like I just said, Elvis turned 89 in 224. But he needs that 90 connection, which is in 2025. That's my point. Because 130 plus 94 would have been 224. And that was the year Elvis, last year he turned 89. And then he went from 89 to 90 this year. So that's why the 95 is more important, because it adds up to the 225. So Washington equals 130. Then if you add the 95, which is the connection I've been showing this whole video. Okay. Now, okay, let me just show you the next part. Why am I showing you this? Because, there was an earthquake that happened on 5/10 just recently. I did a video on it. And Elvis died in Tennessee, right? And a Tennessee earthquake on 5/10. 5/10 is the 130th day of the year. Washington equals 130, right? Remember, I just showed you 130 plus 95 is the 225. And the 5/10 was the day the earthquake happened, and it's the 130th day of the year. Washington equals 130. Look at the time. Look at the time it happened, folks. Look at this. The time of the earthquake was 9:04. And what was the magnitude? 4.1. Added up, 945. I'm just, okay. Again, I ask you, is it just a coincidence, or are they telling us something? I'm asking you. Okay? And from 9/5, because remember, the earthquake happened on 510, which is the 130th day of the year, and Washington equals 130, right? And remember, I told you 130 plus 95 equals 225, which is this year. And we're getting the 945 connection with the earthquake. And 95, and remember, it happened on 510, the earthquake in Tennessee. Look, from 9/5 to the date the earthquake happened. Look at that. There it is again. The date 9495. I mean 94 is the 247th day of the year. On a leap year is 248th day, and 95 is the 248th day on a regular year, and 249 on a leap year. So what I'm saying is, look, 95 to the date that the earthquake happened is 247, 248 days. You see again what I'm talking about? Again, I ask you, is this just a coincidence? Come on, man. Come on. And I told you, look again, because remember I told you 94 plus 95 equals 189. 94 plus 95 equals 189, because Elvis needs the 9. And then you have, it's a 247th day regularly and 248 regularly on a regular year, right? And it equals 495. Again with the 495, 945. You know what I mean? Plus the 189 for this, right? 94 plus 95 is 189. Elvis needs the 9. He was born on 1/8. Okay? I'm just asking you, this is crazy coincidences, right? You know what I mean? It's exactly what I'm showing you here in this slide. You know what I mean? Okay? Elvis needs the 1/9, the 9. Okay? And again, why is 9495 so important? Just look at it yourself. Look. 9 plus 4 is 13. 9 plus 5 is 14. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. Add it up, you get 108. Elvis is born on 1-08. Okay? You see? Just like, what did I just tell you? My birthday is 9/4, right? September's month chart. The first time you see September, that's the 9th month. 12 months later is 21. 12 months later is 33. 12 months later is 45. 9/4 is the 45. The portal, because 1 through 9 equals 45. And look, if you add it up, 9, 21, 33, 45 equals 108. Elvis's birthday again, connecting to my birthday. Do you understand? Okay? This is, like I said, every single piece of the puzzle I'm trying to make you guys understand. Obviously, the guy who's going to reveal this puzzle, it has to be connected to him. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. It's not about my birthday. It's about the fact that I'm revealing it. That's why God made sure that it connected to my birthday. Okay? And of course, I showed you that equals 189 because Elvis needs the 9. His name at the bottom, if you see what I mean. And look, let me just show you this, because because Elvis needs the 9, right? Look, from Elvis's birthday to 8/9, it's 945 days. Okay? And if you go from Elvis's birth, the year he was born, if you went forward 945 days, it would land on 8/9. Because I told you Elvis needs that 9, right? And look at that. It's the percentage for 945 days is 258.90. Look at that. So year 25, and what did Elvis do? He went from 89 to 90. 89 to the 0, see? Because I told you Elvis needed that 0. He needed that crown on that 9. Okay? The percentage, I'm saying, of 945 days. Okay, I gotta put my hand down. My hand's about to fall off. Look at what happened to my thumb. It's dented. Hold on, folks. And I have to do another video in a couple hours, and it's even gonna be a much harder video. Look, I have to show this in 2 hours. I'm about ready to lose it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Part 2 is 100 times better than this, folks. I just hope to God people watch part 1 first before they watch part 2. But they're not going to do it. I know it. People are going to come in and they're going to watch part 2, not watch part 1. the ones who didn't watch this, I'm saying. Because you have to understand why the 9 is so important before you watch the next one, okay? You'll see. Anyway, speaking of what I just was showing you, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, yep. That 9 is super important, right? Yep. Now, just real quick. So remember I was showing you that 1-8 to 8-9, you see that? Because Elvis needs that 9, right? Look, speaking of 1-8, 8-9, guess when Washington State was founded? 1889, you see that? And what is the 1889th prime number? 16253. And you know why I show you this? Because I always told you guys that everything has to do with June 11th and also Trump. Because Trump's born 3 days after. So 162nd day of the year is June 11th. Then 165th day of the year is June 14th. Okay? And then you have the 3, which is a crown. So there's a lot of connections with these numbers here. That's all I'm trying to show it to here. And the fact that it's Washington State was founded, 1889. And by the way, folks, I've done all the connections with Washington State and the day it was founded, all that. So you just got to watch my video. I can't show every single piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? It's impossible. All right. So I'm just showing you a few things that you may not have seen. I'm saying. Okay. But the 1890 is more important. I'll show that in the next video. Okay. I'm just trying to show you a few things here. So on the Roman calendar, the 6th month is actually the 4th month. So 611 is actually 411 on the Roman calendar. And why am I showing you that? Okay, the Roman calendar, the 6th month is actually the 4th month. And why am I showing that? I showed this just recently, okay, again for the 10th time. But do you know that Elvis's birthday, January 8th, is the same exact numbers as April 11th? So 611 is 411, right? 611 is 411, April 11th. And April 11th equals exactly January 8th, the numbers. See what I'm saying? How perfect that is? And why am I showing that? Because it connects to the 94-95. From Elvis's birthday to 411, on a leap year, it's 94-95. On a regular year, it's 94 days. Okay? Yeah, if anyone's not feeling well, God bless you and God bless everyone. Pray for everyone, folks. Okay? Anyway, so that's why I was showing 411, because 611 is 411, right? On the Roman calendar. And January 8th equals April 11th in Gematria. And from Elvis's birthday to 411 is 94-95 days on leap year, 94 on the regular year. Again, connecting, right? Now watch this. From 411, you go forward 9 months, 4 days, or 9 months, 5 days. It lands on MLK's birthday. You see that? And how does MLK connect to 9-4? Because 9-4 is the 247, 248 day of the year. Look, the first prime and the 15th prime is 247. That's MLK's birthday. MLK's birthday even connects to the 247. 247s, do you understand? September 4th is 247, 248, and 9-5 is 248. But what I'm saying is that, and Elvis has been dead 47 years, Trump is 47th president, right? Anyway, so look at all the connections with MLK, because MLK was killed in Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived and died. Elvis was known as the King, Martin Luther King, get it? And now Seattle is in King County, named after Martin Luther King now. Because they're going to destroy it, man. They're telling you. Because I told you, Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived and died. So what I'm trying to say is, look, from 411, because 611 is 411, and January 8th, Elvis's birthday equals exactly April 11th in Gematria. So 411 to 115, MLK's birthday is 9 months, 4 days, 9 months, 5 days, right? I just explained all that. And then, and when was MLK killed? On 95th day of the year, because it was a leap year. Do you understand? On a regular year, it's the 94th day, 95th day. How is that possible? Why? You understand? It's named after Martin Luther King's named after Seattle's King County. And then from 4/4 to Elvis's birthday. From the death day to MLK to Elvis's birthday is 9 months, 4 days, 9 months, 5 days. Do you understand? And what I'm saying is, and then from 4/11 to MLK's birthday is 9 months, 4 days, 9 months, 5 days. And remember, 4/11 is January 8th in Gematria, and 6/11 is 4/11 in Roman calendar. Okay? I'm just trying to show you how impossible this is, man. Okay? It's beyond impossible, all these connections. All right? Oh, and one last thing. Remember that the 945 area code, because remember, MLK was killed on the 94-95 day of the year, and the 945 area code was implemented on January 15th, MLK's birthday in 2021. You see that? MLK's birthday, the area code 945 was implemented. 945. I showed you 954 was implemented on 9/11. You see? In 95. Yeah, God bless everyone in the chat. I got so much on my mind, folks. I can't, I don't know what I'm almost done. I only have like 5 more cards. But the next video is the big one. You got to watch the next video. It's part 2 is going to be way more important than part 1. The part 1, you've already seen this info, but it's super important that you know this info before you watch part 2. Okay, part 2 is the new info, which is way more important right now. But part 1 is showing you the perfect foundation of why Elvis needs the 9, okay? If you guys didn't watch this, you're making a huge mistake. If you don't watch this from the beginning to the end. Give me a second here. Oh, sorry about that. What am I doing, man? Give me a second. I'm almost done. Yeah, before you leave, folks, make sure you thumb up the video and then comment under the video. And make sure in the comment section also, after you make a comment, which is, like I said, you're not doing it for me, you're doing it for the algorithms. Make sure when you put a comment also, you should tell people to make sure they watch part 1. But also put a comment, like what you thought of the video, or did you see something that you thought was interesting, you know what I mean? But make sure that you put all viewers must watch this part 1 before they watch part 2. Anyway, so I'm almost done here. And speaking of the, well, let me show this first. This one, you know that June 11th is Wednesday this year. Okay. And they even had a movie called Wednesday, or some kind of series or something. I don't remember. But from that stupid Addams Family show, whatever the heck it is. But this year, June 11th, is a strawberry moon, by the way. There's some kind of weird stuff going on with the moon on June 11th. It's the first one of the year, or the only one of the year. I don't know what that means. Hold on. Let's see what they say real quick before I show this. What is the moon called on June 11th this year? June's full strawberry moon is the last full moon of spring. Oh, what does that mean? The full moon will be called. I don't understand. I thought they said this is the only strawberry moon. I don't get it. Is it just one a year, or is it? I don't understand. I don't know nothing about like the celestial stuff. You know, is that what they call it, celestial? Oh, and by the way, like I said, I've done all this stuff on MLK. You know, the connections with his date and everything. He even was born in the 404 area code, folks. You can't make this stuff up. He was born in the 404 area code and died on 404. Do you understand? It's impossible. I was the first one to show all this stuff. Nobody knew these things. You know? Anyway, it's beyond belief. Look how perfectly it aligns with everything. With the King Code. Elvis is known as the King. Martin Luther King dies in Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived and died. And now Seattle's King County. What do you think what are they doing here? What's going on, you know? Anyway, let's finish this video. That way I can come back and do the next one. I'll let you guys know before we end it. What time I'm coming back. So Wednesday, June 11th, 2025, Seattle, Washington, Elvis Aaron Presley with a crown equals 940. It's just 94 with a crown, but that's with a crown, the letter O. So I thought that was interesting, but no big deal. But look at this. Here's something interesting. If you add up all the days of this year, the 3 dates that are important, which is Elvis's birthday, 6/11 and August 4th, you know, if you add up the numbers, 6 plus 11 plus 2025, look at that. It's 611 with a crown, see? The 3 is the crown, the W, get it? 611. I thought that was interesting. If you add up those, if you add it up as 2025, do you get what I'm saying? Instead of 2025. So that's interesting connection, which I've shown already. And now look at this. If you use only Elvis's birth year, like 1/8/1935 and 8/16/1977, if you add it up, all that, you look at that, you get 3945. See that? And what's the 3945? It's the 3 is the W, the crown. Just like the letter E, you know what I mean? But look, W945. The 3945, get it? 3945. And that's from Elvis's birth to his death. See that? It's the crown on the 945. Man, come on. How many coincidences do I have to show you? Come on. All right? It's impossible, man. Okay? Now, right now, they were talking about Russia just had some kind of Pearl Harbor event. You know, they're saying, that's what the news was calling it, Russia's Pearl Harbor, that just happened today. And they're talking about nukes and everything, what's going on, you know, because of what happened with Ukraine today in Russia, when Ukraine did something to Russia. Look at this. I told you, I've shown every possible thing you could show with this Pearl Harbor event from Elvis, you know. From Elvis's birth, the exact day he's born to the exact day Pearl Harbor happened is 6 years, 11 months. And look at the amount of days. 2,526 days when you add the day. 6 years, 11 months when you add the day. Look at that. 6/11, and we're in between the year 25 and 26. Okay? Do you see? 6 years, 11 months is 25, 26. You see what I'm saying? So 6/11 from Elvis' birthday to Pearl Harbor. Okay? And look at this. Look at these numbers. I've shown, like I said, I've done a whole thing on this 100 times over. Pearl Harbor happened on 12/7/41. From Elvis' birthday to Pearl Harbor, 6 years, 11 months. The prime numbers for the 6th prime number, 11th prime number is 13 and 31. The 13th prime is 41 and the 31st prime is 127. Are you looking? 611 in between Elvis's birthday and Pearl Harbor. 611. The 6th prime is 13, 11th prime is 31. 13th prime is 41, 31st prime is 127. What is the date? 12741. 12741. You see? See what I'm talking about? Connecting to 611. Okay? Now, if you still think that's a coincidence, because 611, Pearl Harbor's connected to 911. Here we go. There's another one. Look at 911's prime numbers. 9, 11, 20, 01. Add that up, it's 41. What are the prime numbers for it? 23, 31, 71, and 2. 127. Pearl Harbor, 127, 41. 41, 127. You see what I'm talking about? Did you see what I just showed you? 611's primes is 1331. The 13th prime and the 31st prime is 41, 127. Prime numbers for 911 is 41 and 127, all of it. All the 911, 2001. Look at that. And Pearl Harbor happened 6 years, 11 months after Elvis was born, and it happened on 12/7/41. See? 12/7/41 for 9/11. So literally, it all connects to each other, every single piece of the puzzle. And if you still think that's not a no big deal, what about this? What about the fact that from 9/4 to the date Pearl Harbor happened is 94, 95 days? Is that just a coincidence? From 9/4? From 9/4? So from 9/5, it would be exactly 94 days. From 9/4, it's exactly 95 days when you add the day. So 9/4/95 connects 94, 95. From 9/4 to Pearl Harbor is 95 days. From 9/5, it's 94 days. See, with this equation, it's 94 days when you don't add the day, 95 days when you add the day. So that means from 9/5, you add the day, it'd be 94 days. Okay? And again, I'm asking you, what is the chance? You have 94, 95 from 9/4 to Pearl Harbor Day. Then from Pearl Harbor to 9/11 is 9 months, 4 days, 9 months, 5 days. Okay? Is that enough? Do I have to show any more to convince anybody? Please tell me, do you really believe I have to show you more than this to make you understand? Tell me, is this impossible or not? I'm asking you guys, is this impossible? Come on. Do I really have to show more than that to convince you that it's about what you're saying? You know? Absolutely impossible what you just saw. Okay? Absolutely impossible. And anyway, the part 2 of this is better than this, folks. Because I noticed it's a lot of people. No, I can't drop part 2 now. I got to take a rest. Listen to what I'm telling you. Part 2 is the new info. This was just laying the foundation. So if you missed part 2, because I noticed that a lot of people don't watch part 2. In when you look at like past videos, they watch part 1, but less people watch part 2. Part 2 is the meat of the meat and potatoes. This is just the appetizer, what you're saying. Okay? The next video is these connections are better, when you look at it. But that one is giving you a more understanding of how it connects to a possible explosive event, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? That's why I'm showing you something in the next video. Okay? So, and remember, when I come back on, what time is it right now? Real quick. It's almost 2:30 here, okay? In Glendale, California. So it's 2:30 almost. I'm not going to be back on probably till 4:30, which is 2 hours from now, okay? You understand? So I'll be back in 2 hours with a pre-show before the real show. Okay, so that means in 2 hours I'm going to come back. You'll see me come live. I'm going to gather everyone together, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, I'm going to tell everyone exactly what time I'm coming back on to do the next video. Okay. All right. God bless all of you. I will make sure anyone who got in late, you got to watch from the beginning, and do not miss part 2. It's way better than this one, and this one was incredible. Okay. So actually it's not way better. It's on the same scale. Okay. But part 2 is the new info, which you got to see. Okay. Anyway, God bless all of you. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Jesus is God. End of video. Oh, and by the way, as you're leaving, make sure you comment and thumb up the video. All right? All right? You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for the algorithms. That way we can help get people to see these videos. Anyway, yeah, make sure you thumb up the video and comment. End of video.